make it short, my experience working in, after getting all this experience, I worked for Dell for 5 years, doing software and electronic integration and doing backroom offices. I do field work and stuff. And I work for Fujitsu, HP. At the time, most of the banks were using their domain hardware were all Fujitsu product. So I need to be certified Fujitsu engineer. I had to do the training, and then, you know, I pretty much work into most of the bank in England, you know. And then I also work for Apple for 2 years, and then I work for Siemens. I can't remember how long I worked for them, and I did a little bit of work because then it was phasing out IBM. Those are very old technology. Yes. I did work on Lenovo. What else did I do? Then from there, one of the jobs that was very much paid job for me, that's working for the London Underground, but through a company called Alstom. Alstom is an airplane and electronic company. They deal with airplane component. They also deal with trains component. I think they're based in, well, part of it is based in France. So sometimes with the train compressors and stuff like that, UK hasn't got the engineering or the facility to actually calibrate their compressors. So we need to ship it to France, get it calibrated and send it back, and then we install them. So I work on train just like when you say a mechanic will work on a car. Mm-hmm. I dismantle anything on a train.
So you're a genius.
High-speed train, man. Yeah. And I'm also part of the engineers that allow the self-automate train system. The engineering was there, the wiring was there, but it wasn't enabled for driverless. Remember, there was a time when there used to be a lot of accidents in the train because of drivers and all that stuff. So they were eliminating drivers and encourage conductors to attend to people as a life thing. So I'm part of the team that I make the train to actually go on its own and program to stop a station that they need to stop at and the distance of speed that they travel. And also responsible for also the cameras on the train that actually capture every time those doors open, whether it's the internal doors to get from one carrier to another or to get out of the train and get in. So we used to have a lot of people suing the London Underground for being stuck with their buggy on the doorway. How did it happen? I am one of the people who will justify that electronically and present it to the court to show who is at fault. Because everything on the train, anything that moves as an access is controlled with the software. So when the door opens, by the time it closes, the camera is on it. So if you try to beat the door to get in and your bag stuck at the back, and sometimes when you have these drivers that will just move without looking at the platform is clear, it get dragged, you know. You understand? So we had to capture the image and also capture the functionality of the door, whether there was an obstruction and how long it was obstructed for and who obstructed what was obstructing it. So I would do all that justification for them. So the component responsible for that was the TMRC. You know what I mean? So I did work for them for 2.5 years. But what I also learned from the London area is very politicized. It's a politicized department. And you'll have a crew that come from, let's say, Western train or Eastern train that are to take over on the northern lines. When they come, when the head come, just watch what will happen. They will get rid of every single one to bring their own people in until it's completely changed.
Wow.
You know it, you see it, you can't stop it, and you know you're gonna go. Oh yeah. So that one was paying quite a lot of money. I was changing vehicle like every 6 to 1 year, every 6 months to 1 year.
Oh.
Yes.
You was living at...
I can buy anything at a time.
Yeah, you was living...
Being a young man,
yeah,
making that kind of money.
Yeah. What age you talking about? What were you then?
You looking at maybe when I was about 25, 26 or something.
Wow. And changing cars of it?
Yes. And that's when I used the opportunity to travel to see the world as well.
Yeah.
Yes. You know. But then it was good. And then somebody told me about property, to start investing into properties.
Yes.
But I never liked the idea.
Why?
At the time, the way I see it is a trap for me. In my mind, I know I want to go home one day.
Yeah.
And also will turn around and say, okay, buy it. When you're ready to go, just sell it. Okay. I don't have much experience of how property is acquired in England at the time. And they run around with it and all that stuff. I don't think I was mentally ready to handle that. But in my mind, I know I'm here for some time and I'm gonna go. You understand? So, yes, with all this experience, then I finally decided that I'm gonna go home.
Go home to?
Gambia, of course.
Right.
Yes, I wanna go out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2012, I decided to come home. Yeah.
Were you working at the time? And you quit your job? What do you do?
Well, I had to quit. If you're going on, we got to quit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then I had a little bit of money. It's not enough to build a hotel. It's also not, well, it's just some money to keep me tie over.
Yeah.
And see what I'm gonna do. But I know if I don't move, I will never make that decision as well.
Yeah.
So I have to expect that my life or my lifestyle will change for the worst a bit. You understand? I don't believe in the idea of I have to make loads of millions and then return home with it. I don't believe in that. I was already rich with knowledge.
Yeah.
And I've also seen the society that I live in. I developed work ethics. I developed living with people from different parts of the world, which enabled me to do business with anybody for that matter. So for me, that's the riches I bring back home.
2012,
yes.
You came to visit or you came to stay?
I came to stay.
Where were you living at the time when you came back?
Then I already built a house here.
Oh yeah, all right.
Yeah, I already built a house here. And because when I was coming in my mind, I was planning it before 2012. I said, if for me to free and live in the Gambia and able to do things, because when you leave that part and you come over here, nobody feels sorry for you, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So they were like, you came from England and you expect for us to give you what we have. You must be crazy. And I understand that will be coming back at me. So for that reason, I built a house that I can live without having to worry about rent. And I have a concept of what I wanted to do when I come over. Part of it was to build this hotel. So I start the foundation of this hotel. And I looked at how much money did I just take from a chunk. I'm thinking, no, I'm not ready.
What about the land? How did you get the land?
Oh, I got the land since 2005.
You came over 2005 and bought the land?
Yes, but I used to buy land anyway because I wasn't one of those types that save money in the bank.
Yeah.
To me, saving money in the bank is a waste of money.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna use it and they will depreciate as it goes, and then you keep making extra 5p on it every once in a year.
Yeah.
So it actually makes no sense to me. You know, so I decided to invest it on land that I know I appreciate, you know what I mean? So I buy a few land over here.
So this piece of land now?
Yeah, this particular piece of land,
Yeah.
at the time I didn't think it as a hotel. I just look at it as a quiet area to actually live with your family. And then obviously development is happening and I keep my eyes open to see what's going on. I look at the tourist sector, I look at what other development are there in the future in the pipeline. I talk to the the people that are responsible for development plan to see what's the government planning for this area, that area, and all that stuff.
Okay.
So I have an idea of what we'll be expecting of this place at a time. And then, yeah, so when I came, I said, okay, what do I do now? I looked into IT in the Gambia. In those days, you'll be very surprised. Even the banks,
Yeah.
they don't have they have a standalone machines. They don't have file servers. Everything was done manually. And then I'm working with 21st century equipment. So the value I can bring in, they don't fully understand it yet. But do I have the time and energy to encourage them to evolve with technology? At the time, they wouldn't even see the need because technology is expensive. But they'll look at it, we have few computers and it's functional. Why do we have to go this other way? Because security wasn't at risk. A lot of people were naive when it comes to technology over here. But as things start going wrong, they start, sometimes you just need to have one or two things that goes wrong to actually encourage you to put your security up, put your guards up. I think that had happened now. But then the skills I have enterprise skills, from between countries and countries and the different geographical locations. Because I also worked in Sweden doing for software and electronic integration for 6 months. That was also a very high paid job. Stayed in a hotel all the time. So yes, but then,
Building this place now.
This place, the idea came to build, then when I finally made up my mind to make it as a commercial place, I decided to make it as a hotel. When I do the foundation, I see how much it cost me. Then I said to myself, I'm not ready yet. When I look at all the equipment that I need in place, the ones that I have to hire, it takes the chunk part of the money. I said, this is not right. So I decided to buy the equipment and own them, knowing that all my money will be going into buying equipment anytime I touch this place, but with the ulterior motive that I could hire them to people and make some income out of it. And I did that, and I see that's working. Then I decided to open a shop and put everything there, put a signboard there, put my number there. And I see people scrambling for my equipment.
Equipment like?
It could be like mixes. It could be, I bought some marine plywoods from England. Okay. They're 18 millimeter thickness. Okay. Some of them are still here. They survived this long. Not even water can get through them. You understand? So I bought some of those, bought water tank, gradually. Then people start hiring them. But the people that come to hire this thing, these are people who are working, taking government projects with no equipment. So I said to myself, why can I not do it? I am not a builder, but I'm a businessman. And I'll learn on any trade real fast, real quick.
Not you again.
That's me, man. I'm telling you. I thought about it. So I keep chatting to them every time they come. I build good relationship with them. And then I had to go and talk to a big brother of mine, not biologically, but because he lived in England and was involved in the construction company. And I used to help him out to actually fix his laptops and all that stuff, or his internet when it goes wrong. Then that cable internet, when you use a telephone line connection to your phone, the RJ11 that goes at the back of the computer and all that stuff, there could be pain in that. So he used to call me for that. So I met him here, and he was doing very well. And his name, he is a Gambian. Okay, he's called Paul Mendy. I'm sure he's not mine for me to mention his name. He said to me, I'm gonna link you up with some of these people, some of this ministry that actually give out contracts, so you can bid and, you know what I mean. So we went around one Monday morning. We drove around, introduction and all that stuff. Mentally, I am ready. But what to expect, I don't know. You know, so, and then they said, yeah, I mean, we have a few things coming up, but when it's done, it'll be on papers. Just come and tender. Then I start looking for engineers, start talking to them, getting ideas of how they are paid, what is expected of them. So I had to create a whole lot of document to understand how this chain works, actually really works, and also how do you go into tendering board to actually able to win. What are the strategies to win and all that? Do you have to be the cheapest one to win, or do you have to find another way? Or what are your competitors like? What do they have that you don't have? How do you stand out of that group? When they're doing their elimination or when they're shortlisting, how do you save yourself to be shortlisted with no experience, pre-experience to actually show?
How did you do that?
Oh boy. Yes. So basically, I had to team up with some people that had experience, and they have one or two things on their list that they have done. So I become the barker. So they become the carrier, take me under their wing.
Yeah.
And we go together and we create. I start my first one just to experience it through. At this stage, I'm not looking for profit, it's the experience I'm looking for. And then like piggyback basically. So I get through that successfully, come back out. And then this time I went in as a joint venture, so I can start creating history for myself. Joint venture, partner with a couple of companies, and we went through it successfully. So I can say I did this with this person, and we move forward. And then I tried some smaller ones by myself, and they come out successful, and that's how I build myself up to whereby I can actually tender for something that is far better than what I was going for, to a point that I got recognized in the industry, and to a point that I don't need anybody to actually tender and take on a job and execute it. And through that, I developed a very good relationship with the banks. So they're able to give me money to actually pre-finance my work. And I did, one time I did it under micromanagement, in a sense that I have no asset to use for collateral, you know, asset that qualify me at their own vetting. You know what I mean? I may have a house, but they need certain things around it. And if that's not in order, then they cannot. So what we end up doing with the bank was, okay, I'm expecting this amount of money from this project as advance payment. What you do, you micromanage it. You understand? In the sense because I have to give a guarantee to the government, so they know I'm not running away with their money and I'm not going to abuse it, and somebody will hold liable if it goes wrong. So for the bank to do that for me, so that I can get my foot in the door, they had to micromanage. When the fund comes, they hold it. I cannot access it. So I have to give them an inventory of what's needed. And I have to go and take pro forma to show them. It's a very hard way, but it's a disciplined way to make sure, because they're the one protecting the government's money, you know, via me. Because they don't have any of my asset to say, okay, we hold this, go and do whatever you want. If you don't do it right, we sell it and just pay them off. That wasn't the case. So they had to micro-control me. If I want cement, I need 100 bags. I'll write to them, give them a bill, and they'll allow the money to go out and pay those people. So we did it successfully. To a point, I managed to acquire a couple of assets. Then I surrendered it to the bank. And now I'm in charge of the money, whatever money comes to my account. And from then, I've been successful for any project I've done. Few projects failed, but they had to do with the client. Some of them are government projects, some of them are individual. You understand? For some reason, things get changed in the middle of it. But I did my obligation. In fact, it worked out on my own losses. Yeah, you get through all of that. So this is what happened. And then finally, I decided now I have the capacity in terms of machinery, and financially it's manageable, and to start the hotel. And
So-
this is where I am now.
The hotel now. How many rooms? This?
Look at 70 rooms.
70 rooms.
Yeah.
70.
70 and suites, all of them.
Ensuite. All
Yeah.
of them. What's the size of them?
There are various in terms of rooms. Some are really big, some are small, but I always wanted to, I like this freedom of spacing. I don't want a tight cage place. I think the reason why I am even looking at things that way is because the way you live in England, all the houses are small and tiny, and the stairways, you know what I mean? You can have two people at one time on the stairs, one have to wait for the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're looking at these basic structures that people occupy as resident, you know, I'm sure there are other houses that are bigger, but then naturally, England, things are small compared to countries that I travel in the world. You know, like for instance, when you go to America, they're big, and you know. So yes, so
Windows?
I'm like,
Windows? What size are the windows? There's massive.
oh, some of them are just a whole side of the structure. You know what I mean?
Side,
It could be like maybe about 5 meter by 5 meter. You know what I mean? So some of them are that big, but it's just to create some panoramic feel of the nature, the greenery. You know what I mean? I don't want a cage house. I want, you know, a room that is free, you know, with all the furniture you can still move around. And also, when you pull the curtain apart, you have a panoramic view, basically. So for me, I think it's something that I like as a person. So I also believe that a lot of people will like that idea rather than having a cage room whereby you can only go through the door, see through the door, the smaller windows.
The selling point of this hotel, what do you call?
Well, the selling point, I tried to pick some people's mind
Yeah.
with tourist experience. Some people come here, some tourists will still come here and start asking me, you know, when this place gonna be ready. So, and some of them are here to watch the birds, some of them like the greenery, some of them are attracted with this river that flows to the beach, you know what I mean? So they all give me a different way of looking at it, but they all come to the same thing. So I take those informations, and I think I can boldly say it's the locations and the wetland that's right in front of it, and the green, and the fact that you have a river that flows through it. I think, and also you have a lot of birds here in the mornings and in the evenings. I think that automatically become, you know, attraction for a lot of people. And I also understand from some of the people that I use the hotel, they may not want to be in these congregated and busy areas like in a beach whereby everybody will see you and so some people just want to have it quiet and do their thing. Some are here on a professional capacity, so they wouldn't want to hang out in the beach. So places like this are isolated from the main road. You don't have the noise of a car, so you're isolated from a lot of the things. So I think the only noise that you hear is just the birds. So I think that works with a lot of them. And then it's cooler as well. You know, you have nice breeze blowing from the sea across the Gulf. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's definitely, and the fact that people are coming here and asking when it's gonna be finished, and the fact that white people already find their way here, it's not been advertised. I haven't put it on social media to say it's gonna be this, it's gonna be called that or whatever. You know what I mean? They just stroll and they say they keep coming and you know, so they
It's
keep it, they keep it up.
well. It's a hideaway as well.
Exactly, yes.
This front house we're looking at, what would you call it? What is that house? Is that
Well, they are rooms. I created this based on, you know, when you live in the West, you learn a thing or two about how some people want to live their life. Some people are very private people. they probably don't want to live with everybody in one place, and some want to be detached from everyone else, for whatever reason. So this is why I created these individual rooms that are not attached to each other, and for that reason, I think it will suit certain type of people, and they can have it basically. But the concept at the top, I created a sitting area where some people can use it as a sunbathing, or somewhere that you can just sit down and watch the birds, or even have some food over there, some tables and chairs and an umbrella. I think it gives you a very good scenery when you're up there, especially when it's clean, because right now it's very dusty. Yeah, it's a beautiful place when you're there. It's really nice with the nature that's right in front of it,
So what type of hotel you doing? Is it gonna be like bed and breakfast, all inclusive?
I want to do all inclusive, but I don't have much experience in terms of how hotels are run. But then I talked to a few companies that are willing to take it on once it's done, to actually lease it and run it, operate it. I keep an open mind for now until it's completed.
Well, you're building a kitchen and everything?
Yeah, everything.
Okay.
And I'm even gonna try and create a safari for them. They wanna go elsewhere, provide the vehicles, whether it's a motorbike or whether it's a vehicle or whether it's buses. I'll have them around, so if they're, and also some VIP vehicles as well, when you have businessmen and stuff like that, and they wanna be going back and forth in town, vehicle will be available for them.
I'm looking at the road now. You have anything to do with this road?
Yes, in fact, there was no road there when I was buying this place. I was actually expecting to be going on the older road, the one that's on the other side. But then some situation forces the situation, and that ended up giving me the idea of just developing that road, which actually work out much better in terms of when you're directing people to come here. They don't have to go round and round all the houses and stuff, straight on the main road. So yeah, so I started to put it together, and we're waiting for the OIC road development that's currently on with the government. Once that has taken the part of the road that it needed for construction, then I will just connect to that.
Okay.
Environment was a bus.
Yes.
We don't have no road to walk on.
And you dump it up?
Yeah, but my boss fixed this road.
Okay.
So now cars can run, people can walk anytime in the night.
How far is the beach from here?
On foot, probably about 15 minutes if you work it. 15, 20 minutes if you work it. If you drive, depending where you're going, it could be just 5 minutes away. Yeah.
So this hotel is designed to get like more foreigners in, or local people as well?
The hotel is open to all season.
Okay.
And doesn't matter where they come from, but I want to keep it for all season. I don't want to have this concept of tourism only.
Yeah.
I want to open it for it to function, because I've seen hotel like this in South Africa, and I stayed in one of them. The concept actually came from South Africa. Yes, and also I traveled to some other African places whereby the hotel is right in the middle of the town. Nothing to do with water or isolated places, like busy places with traffic and everything. And they're there, and mostly professional people stay there.
Yeah.
They're in the midst of everything, and they just get up and do their thing and come back. So if you look at the location of this hotel, it's actually the closest hotel to Kairaba Avenue, where you have all the banks, most of the banks, and it's a busy place, So these is a nice location. It's just about 5 minutes drive to all the banks areas and stuff like that. And then if you turn left, take 5 minutes on the same road, you get to Senegambia. So it's like everywhere. You can access it from the airport on both directions.
What area is this in?
This is Kotu Gulf area. Yeah.
Have you got a name for the hotel yet?
I do, but I'm not going to share it yet.
Okay. Okay. Are you going through more than one names at the moment?
I have gone through names, but I think my mind is made up now.
Okay, so I'm not sure. Have you got a date when the hotel is going to open?
No.
Or a year, next year, the other year?
I don't have a date because I don't have the time to concentrate on the hotel purely 100%, because I'm also responsible for other projects that are ongoing. And I run a company called Zen Construction, and I'm using my company to actually build a hotel. So when we're busy in different locations and stuff like that, that can actually cause a slowdown. Because I do suspend this work sometimes when I'm busy out there with deadlines with government works or individual works. For me, the fact that this is mine, so I can work on it when I'm ready. But then I give priority to agreement that I held outside with other clients to make sure I deliver on time. That's the reason I couldn't put a date on it. But also to keep raising money for it.
Yes, true.
Yes.
So you got a full-time job now?
Yes, you could say so.
Yeah. While you're building your hotel?
Full-time job in what sense? Yes, you're right. You're right, full-time, because this is more than a full-time. This is like 24/7 job, man.
Yes. So what are you doing here at the moment? Are you working?
At the moment, I'm talking to you.
Yeah. So, you're talking to me after that. You're working today?
Actually, I am working. You're the reason why I'm stuck here.
Are you working on your project now?
I am working on my project now, and I'm also working on different projects outside.
Importance of parents, what you say?
Yeah, see, personally, from what I've gone through and what become of me now, it had to do a lot with my parents being around. And when they were not around, I didn't care. I didn't care about anything, absolutely. I go to school because I have to go to school, because if I don't go to school, they flog me to go to school. And if you left to me, I won't go anywhere. And I don't have this competition in my mind or try to make somebody happy. So I wasn't bothered with anything personally. But then until the return of my parents back in the Gambia, live with them. For me, when I know myself as a person, that's the first experience I have when my parents came to live with me. And this is why it's like a switch button in my head that tells me, your life has to change now. Because I talk to my dad, we drive around, I see what he does. He's very ambitious, he's working on different things. He do a lot of gratis, he help people, he develop houses, he give to people freely. He house homeless people, you know what I mean? And he provide for his family. And I'm thinking, how will I be able to do that? You know? And my inspiration entirely, I would say, come from my dad. Because I remember one thing he said to me, and that still ring the bell, when I just built my first house. He said to me, no, before that actually, I bought one piece of land. And then for me, at the time, I said, oh, that's it, so I'm good now. So he said to me, you bought one piece of land and you think that's the end of it? That's where he stopped. He didn't say any more. But then I had to think for a second, what does he mean by that?
Yeah.
But when I look at what he actually had for himself, a lot. And I'm thinking my dad is telling me, hey, you need to do more. You haven't even started yet.
Yeah.
Then, because my dad is old school, and these were picked up whereby he doesn't keep money in the bank. He said it's a waste of money and make other people richer. Invest it on something that actually appreciate. So I end up start buying land. Every 5-6 months I buy a piece of land when I was in England. So my investment was to buy more land. And he was a witness to all of this. So it's him who turned around again and said to me, what are you going to do with all this land? You cannot build it all.
Oh, really?
He said you cannot build it all. So start build one complete and move on from there. Then I built my first house, completed. Then when I built that house, I think I had it all now. He said to you have one house, and then what?
That's it?
He never explained details. He just,
Make you think for yourself?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay. Then I had to do economical thinking. I have all this land. If I build them up, let's say I build about 20 to 30 properties. You do the maths. Let's say maximum, you rent them out for like $6,000-7,000 a year. You put it together, you're probably looking at maybe $100,000 or $200,000. You know what I mean, roughly. And I'm thinking, okay, what about now you build a hotel that will do 4 times that? You understand? And some of these land that you had, they may not even be in very attractive locations. You know, the price could be differ because of the sizes and locations and the development that surround that particular area. So I said to myself, okay, build a hotel. Once it's done, it will be the one to build all these other houses. And that's where my mind comes to doing this one. So if I was doing a house like normally Gambia, a standard basic house, you're looking at 3-4 bedroom house.
Yeah.
Considering the amount of money I put here, you'll be looking at about 20 houses built, ready to be rented.
Wow.
Maybe even more. But then I'm still on this.
Yeah.
But I know it's better
In the long run.
because yes, I've done the maths and I've looked at it and I'm saying I'm doing the right thing. And when I started building this hotel, it was actually gonna be just on the first floor. Oh no, actually I was gonna, no. Then now our conversation with my dad reversed. When I got to the first floor, he said to me, why don't you stop here and then put it out for business? I said, okay. But as soon as I completed the first floor, I went straight for the third and the fourth floor.
So were the foundation strong enough to hold this?
Oh yeah.
You built
I
it up.
poured a lot of money into the foundation because I knew I was gonna go up.
Oh, you know that.
Yes, and then where the building is actually sitting is actually the highest point, and I believe there's rock underneath because water flows underneath to come out, and wherever you see water, there's a rock. Water hardly travel in clays. It only finds its way through rocks. You understand? So he said to me, okay, now try and finish this and put it into business. Well, while completing it, and then I start developing that one. He said to me, you're crazy. I said, you don't keep telling me, you know what I mean, you should do more. Now I'm doing more, you're telling me to reduce it. So now I stay with everything to the highest of my capacity and then move forward. So having a parent in your life, believe me, is a life-changing for a child, for every child. Because if you're responsible parents, you're determined. You know what's best for you. You know you want to create something good for yourself and for your family. When a child learns from that, believe me, they'll make something for themselves. And for that reason, you know what I mean, that's what I learned from it. And that's where my drive came through. I like the idea of when I bring my dad to some of the things that I do, that joy in his face and the proudness.
Wow.
It makes me want to do more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So every time I look at what I do, I say, no, I can do way better than that. You understand? So, I mean, just that time, and I haven't lived with them that long to a point where I traveled to England. But then it prepared me. That 7 years that we spent together, it prepared me to become a man. It prepared me to take a risk. It prepared me to actually go beyond expectation.
I'll ask you one question.
Go on.
Your age. Because you're a young man. You seem very young.
I will get you to guess that. Guess my age.
See, young 30s in my head.
Oh boy.
Yeah. You look very young.
I am 42, brother.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Great.
I got a lot of people lost with my age, and I don't know why.
Oh, you really look young.
I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take drugs, I don't do any of that. I just eat.
To achieve so much at your age as well, it's crazy. What would you say to a younger generation coming up in the business and want to be like you? You as a role model, like.
They need to find a sense of direction, things that they love doing. And when they find out what they're doing, they should be committed to it. Nothing comes easy and nothing comes free. If you have a divided attention, you cannot achieve anything. Your mind has to be focused. You need to be determined and need to prepare for whatever challenges that come in that way. Don't allow it to throw you off board, because that's the only way you will give up your dream. Don't allow anything to knock you out of it. I know life could be very challenging. You will try and sometimes something severely go wrong and you think that's the end of it. But pick yourself up, keep your head high and start again. If you're not lucky the first time, the second time, the third time, you'll find a way. That's what I believe.
Good advice.
You know, because this day and age, especially the generation we are living now, there are too many things, there are too much distractions, you know what I mean? And they are not good for anybody, but people find themselves, you know, stuck in that environment and they don't know how to get out. If you consider yourself as skillful with football, do whatever you can, but also know when the time is up to change. I personally, I don't have a love of anything for now, but anything I touch, I stay with it until I know I have crossed the path that I need to be. And if I get bored, or if I feel like this is a dead end, then I'm happy to start something new and fight all the way to the end. I don't get confused between things. I'll look at it, I'll do my due diligence. When I know it's for me, even if I ask people, it's a discouragement from their experiences, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna go wrong too. Maybe they were not better equipped mentally to actually even approach in the first place. But when you know you're ready, you become deaf to anybody, because all you see is a success. And you keep it that way, eventually you get what you want. I think that's the kind of drive I have. I don't give up at all. And when I'm after something, I go with passion. But I'm also open-minded to know that I might not be successful. But then either I have to have a fallback plan, or I should be determined. Whatever comes in that direction, I'll have to go through it. But until you have this quality, it's difficult, unless with a pure luck. So it's never easy. Commit, focus, fight.